Hello, fellow peasants. Today I'll be reviewing 1988's Cocktail. Alright guys, so I sat down last night and watched Cocktail with Tom Cruise. This film came out in 1988. I pretty much have only heard bad things about this movie. It seems like either you love it or you hate it. I've heard a lot more of I hate it. So what is Cocktail about? So I'm going to give you a rundown of the whole story of the film. So basically, Tom Cruise plays a guy who gets out of the military. He moves back to New York. He's looking for a job. He wants to make money. He wants to get rich, but he doesn't really have any educational background. He can't get a job on Wall Street, so he goes to I think it's like some community college maybe. And while he's going to school there, he becomes a bartender at like a small little bar there in New York. And he's going to school part-time. He's working at the bar part-time. He's getting burned out. And it doesn't really quite say whether or not he fails out of school or he drops out. I think he fails out or drops out. I'm not sure. But either way, he doesn't go to school anymore. He starts bartending full time. Him and his boss who takes him under his wing, teaches him how to be a good bartender, do all the, tricks with flipping the bottles and all that type of stuff. They get like a big break in a way, and this really rich guy tells them he wants them to work for him, and they start bartending at these elaborate clubs. Well, Tom Cruise hooks up with this millionaire lady, and his boss is like, "Oh, she's just screwing with you. It won't last very long. I'll make a bet with you. I'll bet you $50 that, or whatever he says, or I can't remember the amount, but he says, I'll bet you that she's screwing somebody else in 3 weeks. Well, his boss screws Tom Cruise's girlfriend just so that he can win the bet. Tom Cruise beats him up. They have a fight at the bar. They have a falling out. Tom Cruise moves down to Jamaica. He's a bartender down there. And he meets up with this young girl. They have a fling. And his old boss comes down to Jamaica, sees that he's still bartending, makes him a bet that, see that girl over there? I bet you can't hook up with that rich girl. Tom Cruise is dumb enough to take the bet, hooks up with the rich girl, and the girl that he has been having a fling with is pissed. She feels like she's been cheated on. She moves back to New York. She's also from New York. She moves back to New York, and when things don't work out for Tom Cruise, back in New York with his new girlfriend, he goes back to the girl he had a fling with. She's like, look, I didn't want to tell you, but I'm pregnant. I don't want you in our lives. You're a piece of shit. And her dad thinks that he just wants to get back in their lives because he's now found out that she has money. Her parents have money. And all the while this is happening, Tom Cruise's boss, his old boss, he's married. He's been married to this rich lady that he's been kind of living off of. And I guess he's been making bad investments, and now he's going broke, and he's lost everything. And eventually, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen this, you might want to turn it off now. This is a bit of a spoiler. But this movie is, 36 years old. His friend kills himself. He commits suicide due to going bankrupt and this and that. And so then Tom Cruise kind of moves on with his life after that. And he gets back with the girl he had the fling with. Basically, her dad's like, we're done with you. They decide to live without her family involved. And they open up a bar called Cocktail and Dreams at the end, which was Tom Cruise's business plan in college, was to open up a nice bar that could be out in the suburbs and strip malls of every neighborhood across the country. And he opens up like the first location towards the end, and that's where at the end she whispers in his ear, she's like, "We're having twins, by the way." But all in all, it's a fun flick. What do I like? What do I not like about Cocktail? What I like about Cocktail is it's just fun. It's just a fun movie. It's a lighthearted movie, except for the suicide scene thrown in at the end. But I just like the vibe of the movie. It's just fun. There's good comedy in it. It's a good story. It's an interesting story. It's like a love drama thriller. The cinematography is excellent in the film. There were several times while watching the movie I was like, wow, this looks really freaking good. Like, this is a beautiful shot. The standard Blu-ray, like, I highly recommend, if you don't have the Blu-ray for this, go on Amazon. I got it for like $10. You can go on Amazon and get this movie for like $10 on Blu-ray. It's an excellent transfer. It's a great picture. And especially like when they're down in Jamaica, and even some of the shots in New York City, it's a crystal clear image on this Blu-ray. And so the cinematography in this is gorgeous. Tom Cruise's performance is amazing. He's charismatic and smooth. He's a smartass the whole movie. There are some flaws with his character, but I'll get into that later. But overall, Tom Cruise gives a great performance. Tom Cruise has yet to let me down. I haven't seen a Tom Cruise movie that I don't like, okay? I was expecting this to be good or bad, because everyone either loves this movie or hates this movie. And I love this movie. I think it's great. Do I think it's The Godfather or something? Do I think it's Gone with the Wind? Do I think it's, Oscar award winning? No, but it's a fun, entertaining film. And that's what movies are supposed to do. They're just supposed to entertain you and be fun, okay? And it did its job. What else do I like about it? Just the story. The story is interesting. Guy gets back from the military. He wants to make money. He realizes that back home he can't make the kind of money he wants to make. He can't live the American dream like he thought he could, coming back. And he has a rough go of it. And he just ends up bartending. And then he knocks this girl up in Jamaica. And there's drama with that. I thought it was an interesting story. I thought it was good. I thought it was cool. What else did I like about the movie? I like that they actually shot on location. They actually shot in New York. They actually shot in Jamaica. Just the settings, the locations are just beautiful in the film. And the bartending, the flipping the bottles and all that, the choreography for this film behind the bar was amazing. I don't know how many takes they had to do some of these scenes, but man, it's pretty impressive. What do I not like about the film? There's only a couple minor nitpicks actually. Is one, the suicide scene. I don't think that quite fit in with the rest of the film tonally. I feel the film is very fun and upbeat, and it's a good time, and then there's a suicide scene, a very bloody, dark suicide scene, okay? And from what I've read about the film was a very dark piece before Tom Cruise came onto the project. Once Tom Cruise came onto the project, the studio heads had a lot of rewrites happen to make it more appealing to general audiences. They wanted to, like, okay, well, Tom Cruise is on here now. It needs to be a lighthearted, uplifting, fun, Hollywoodized thing. So I think, and I appreciate I like the film as it is. I just think that that's one thing from probably the previous version of the script they could have plucked out of this revised version, okay? I just don't think it matches. They could have had his friend just go bankrupt and then they start the bar together at the end or something like that. Like, he didn't need to kill himself over going bankrupt or whatever his financial issues were, okay? And then next is Tom Cruise's character just makes some shitty decisions. Like, there's some just like him hooking up with the rich girl just for a bet is really stupid. Like, it makes you not like his character when he does that. You also think like, wow, how dumb is he that he doesn't know that you can't just walk into Wall Street and get a high paying job. So he's a little naive and stupid, and he makes up for some of that at the end, but there are some decisions that he makes where you're just like, wow, like what a crappy dude, And he's all about money. He's always talking about money. He just seems like a very greedy, self-absorbed person in a lot of the film. But he still has that charm, so it works out. But all in all, what would I rate 1988's Cocktail? In terms of pure entertainment, just sitting down and having a fun time, I would give it a 8 out of 10. Out of just pure sit down, turn your brain off, and have a good time. Don't overanalyze the film. Don't think too much. Don't, just take it for what it is and what it's supposed to be. And it's an 8 out of 10 for me. So that's it, guys. Let me know down in the comments below what you think about 1988's Cocktail starring Tom Cruise. Have a good one, peasants. Peace out. Bye-bye.